Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 181 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always. We have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a recap and we can jump back into things. Shock, awe. After a terrible time, and once again, that terrible time is just a blink in a lifetime, you leave the Brushwood and return to Dem Woods, which is the hometown of Nyx and Keld, a place that does not make you just sad by existing in it because of how terrible the magic is there. And as you exist in this place, slowly the way that the forest has corrupted you will slowly begin to dissipate. And for some of you, you have fully gotten past at least the magical aspect of what the forest has done to you. The rest of it's on you. all I can give you is terrible corruption mechanics. Everything else is up in the air. But last time you settled in, you have Rose in tow, who seems to be a little under the weather and very hungry. The forest, as you all leave, seems very upset to have lost Keld, but seems more upset at herself because Death and Everything made a deal that allowed him to leave. So I'm sure there's a very weird Smeagol conversation happening back at the Hag's house.
And just Death's portions are silent, but
Oh,
the
yeah, no,
other
it's
two
quiet.
respond as if there were, of course.
1,000%. We're one bids. I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And you are all back, and at this moment, as best of the word I can give it to you, you are safe. You are able to eat. After eating, Rose does a little bow and exits the scene to get some fresh air. Roshan, unable to really look at the light at all, the light of day, is just walking around with a big hat on, unable to locate her because when you're just looking at your feet, you're never going to find somebody unless they're Marco Poloing with you, you know? But
He was probably pretty easy to dodge around, honestly.
I'm sure she's just right behind him the whole time. It's real hard to find me when I'm right behind you. Everybody takes time. It seems everybody, at least most of the team, takes a bath at some point during this. People eat food. People sit on comfortable couches or lay on a comfortable bed. A lot of conversations are had between how people feel about what happened in the forest and things. We went into this forest already unwell. We did not go in with a clean slate. And the forest just exacerbated that point of contention in the party. And everybody is now slowly working through that, however they plan to do so. Nana approaches Russ and tries to apologize. Nyx fully is up for accepting apologies, as Nana very much gave something very precious in the idea of helping Nyx. And Russ, grateful, says, thanks for that. But if you try to kill Sindri, I'm going to kill you. It's a hard line for me. There is no apology that will override that you're going to kill my dad. There's no, oh, I'm sorry, that's gonna get past that. So that is a now stated thing. Basically, very straightforward stated thing. Nyx gets a hold of her grandmother's journal. Her mother was nice enough to mark the pages she should look at and shouldn't look at, immediately looks at the ones she shouldn't look at, but does acquire information on how to connect with nature and do specific rituals. And it's definitely like a more diary adjacent journal than like you find a wizard's tome and it has like, this is how you do this and this in great detail. Hers is all vibes and the feelings she felt about it and maybe the why, but none of it's like and then I drew a circle on the ground, this is the diameter. None of those kind of things. Just feelings, just connection. Rose and Nyx meet up again, as it seems Rose is content to talk to Nyx at this juncture. And she is shown to a place where she can sleep for the night, as she asked to not, I suppose, asked to not sleep at the house with you guys. And Nyx brought her there. Rose asked that she doesn't want to speak to Roshan tonight, so he can speak to her in the morning. So please don't tell him where I am. Nyx is like, easy peasy, and upholds that end of the bargain. Roshan and Fen have a conversation about being crippled in some way by the forest and the situations about it, and how you still got to do stuff. you still gotta help. You still gotta try, and we'll do our best. And that war cry, as Nyx and Keld go and have a conversation as well, where they are unsure about Roshan and what to do going forward with that. And people just want more time to think and dwell on things. As you know, some of you are still affected by the forest, the effects of corruption on your bodies. But with that being said, you've had a long rest. You wake up to the next day back in Dem Woods. We are currently in downtime. What are things people wanted to do? We'll start with, there's something you wanted to do in like the first portion of the day, and not like, before I go to bed, I want to, like, no, get out of my way. What's some morning activities people wanted to accomplish?
I mean, Nana's in the stable. Like, once breakfast's done, Nana's in the stable, just hanging out with Thick Biscuit and thinking.
Cool.
The first thing Roshan would check is if he's got magic.
Nope.
Cool. No magic. That's not concerning at all. I
Mhm.
think Roshan didn't need to sleep that night. So I think he spent a lot of it just writing in his journal, and
He's
think
going to take a level of exhaustion.
oh, do I need more sleep?
You don't have any of your abilities.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then he'll sleep. He's tired.
Yeah, you got nothing. So you have to do a little sleepy, or you can try to stay up and be like, look how normal I am, as
Oh, yeah.
as
then,
you nod off.
but I think he would be up early, ready to go once anyone who knows where his sister is.
Cool.
I'd do my obligated thing of taking him there when asked.
Yeah, you just get up and start going about your day. So you're
Yeah.
waiting to be asked.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I don't think he'd ask her to take him there, but he would ask, can you tell me where to find my sister now?
Let's go.
Okay. And he'd probably follow just a couple steps behind.
That works for me.
Okay. You two head off. Anything else before we jump into that, as people begin to go about their day and head off? Anything pressing from anybody else for the morning portion?
Fenn's gonna make his way down to. Are there like an archery list or anything, like a bale of hay that people
I was
shoot
about to say, you
arrows
could
at?
probably get a sweet bale of hay. You
Yeah,
could
Fenn will
probably
make his
figure
way
that out.
down to wherever that is and try to figure out any way to shoot a bow. And he's coming up blank. Like,
Mhm.
he can't wrap his head around it, so he's just gonna go for a run instead. Just
Okay.
gonna, yeah. He tries, using his teeth, maybe can I get a leg up here? Nope, nothing works, nothing's feasible, and so just gonna try and let off some steam and run some laps.
Okay. And Keld, anything in particular, or are you just happy to be home?
I don't think he has anything in particular first thing.
And I guess
He'll
once
just
I get
be-
back, we could be doing the prepping
Yeah,
for our plot.
they'll wait around for Nyx for that.
Yeah.
You stay at home. There are plates to wash from breakfast. Your
Chore
mom's not
boy,
gonna just
chore
do
boy.
it. Get in here. Uh, but you go about, helping around the house. That seems to be kind of what Russ is also doing, is sticking around the house. He felt no inclination to follow Nyx and Roshan. Russ has kept to himself. He's had conversations with the ladle and the grand pot, with Nyx and Keld. Nothing with anybody else. It's not like he's like, arms folded and like turned away from you, but he is not striking up conversation. And he also is now helping dry the dishes that you clean, and is just next to you. You're kind of hoping that your hand doesn't waterlog. You're kind of like, I wonder, like you kind of look at this like twisted vine hand and are like, I guess it's
Is this
fine.
okay?
I mean, it's that or it'll start popping flowers.
I didn't
I
did
did
get any
want to-
guidelines.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it's
think
like
I'll need
roots.
someone
Yeah.
who can like magically look at it, because I don't
Mm,
know how to do
yeah, you take a look at it and you're like, well,
that.
that's somebody else's thought process. Put that on the list.
Hmm.
I'm assuming Nyx and Roshan walk in absolute silence all the way to where Rose is staying. You make it to a small home that is kind of in line with a couple very small houses that, like, it looks like they're like, oh, we have visitors sometimes. There should be somewhere for them to stay, and there's just like little houses for them to stay at. So you bring him to the one that has Rose in it.
We just gesture to it. Let him go
Uh,
ahead.
Roshan will say thanks and then go and knock on the door.
There's no response.
He'll knock a little louder.
There's no response.
He'll let himself in.
Okay, it is unlocked. You walk inside to a small square home where you can see basically every inch of it, and there's not a visible person inside.
I think he says, so help me gods if you were just invisible and avoiding conversation. He'll I think he'll do a quick inspection. It's a small home, and see if he
Yeah.
can bump into her, and if not, maybe go out to the back and see if he can find her.
Yeah, you start poking around. Give me investigation,
Oh,
which I think is, now I can't remember what investigation is. None of my business. I don't care.
bad. 14.
Okay. And he opens the cupboard. He puts his hand in and kind of like moves it side to side, and then closes the cupboard. Goes over to the bed, like pats it down, looks under the bed. Nyx, you hear like a wet crunch sound next to you, and Rose is standing next to you with an apple. What's he doing?
I think he's looking for you.
Oh. Should I go in?
You could wait to see if he like looks outside. Maybe.
Mm,
I don't know.
all right. She'll take your advice on it and she'll just kind of stand there until Roshan, you are very content that you're like, if she's inside, she is doing cartwheels around you.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, what are you gonna do
Mm.
about that? So you're like, okay, I'll go check around the back, and Rose, hood up, standing next to Nyx, kind of gives like a little like 2-finger like hello from around the apple.
I think that's my sign to go.
Oh, you're leaving?
You want me here for this? Okay.
I don't have a preference.
Well, then I'm definitely leaving. We'll start
Oh,
walking
no.
away.
Oh, that sucks. Just take like a big bite of this apple.
I think Roshan will make eyes at her that I think she'll understand is, where do you want to talk? And like motions inside the house or down the trail?
I don't want to be cramped up. And she's gonna start walking.
I think Roshan will fall into step beside her. And it'll probably take a couple minutes before he says anything.
Mhm.
If she talks first, great. If not,
She does not say anything during the walk. There's coughing, and at one point, like she stops and has to like spit apple onto the ground and just like throws the apple to the side, kind of like I'm done eating this now. And it'll turn to rot or it'll turn into a cool tree in 10 years. Who knows? But she just walks.
after she coughs, you're sick. What's wrong?
Um, that's kind of a hard one to explain. It would feel like I'd need a board and to draw out points and point at it with a little stick. But at this juncture, there's not much anybody could really do about it. So just sick until I'm inevitably not.
Will you be inevitably dead if you are no longer inevitably sick?
I think so. I think it'll eventually kill me at some point. It was worse. I was able to make it a bit better, so this is better than it was. There's things I can do. It's just not. There's nothing I could do now about it.
Can I help?
Do you want me to be honest?
Please.
With what I've seen, no.
With what you've seen of me or with what you've seen of whatever this is?
I've seen a lot of this, and I know what it needs. And, maybe that snapshot was just a very, very terrible picture. But from what I have seen, I don't think you can help me right now.
Are we going to play cat and mouse all day?
I told Nyx you could start any conversation you wanted to with me.
Then what can you tell me that you'd think I want to know?
Ugh. That's a no from me, Roshan. You
Fine.
tell me what you
What are you
want.
here for?
Did you ask me what I'm here for?
Yeah.
Roshan, you brought me here.
Don't
What do
play
you want with
dumb.
me? I
Don't
didn't
play
come here.
dumb.
I don't want to fucking be here.
Then leave. But tell me what you can tell me before you fucking go.
Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You brought me here. You threw me into the woods, whether it was on purpose or not. And then you avoid talking to me for a day. And I'll admit, I was a cunt. The forest is insane. Doldrums, am I right? But I did not come here willingly.
Okay. What are you doing on this continent then?
You read Beige Journal, right?
Yes.
Well, then you know what I'm doing.
Rose, are you going to tell me what you are doing here? Anything useful? Or are you just going to give me the runaround all day? Because if that's it, then you might as well go because I don't have the stamina for that.
I can only say so much. So you need to ask very specific questions. Some of them I cannot answer, whether I want to or not.
Are you bound by a fucking oath to Sindri?
I mean, how else do you get the job?
Is there any way to break it?
All of the oaths are very esoteric in nature, but you can't trick yourself into breaking them. It has to be like like one of those coming to Odin moments, right? Where you realize that you have met the requirements. And I think I'm still on the hook for a bit.
Is you being sick, does that have anything to do with the oath?
No.
Is there anything you can tell us about Skull City that would be useful?
It's a city before its time. The amount of innovation in such a short period of time is beyond compare, and I can't imagine what it's going to be in 10 years. It is, I think, that the very, very quiet king is going to have very loud opinions once he sees that Skull City's getting a little too big for their britches.
Can you remind me what the journal talked about that Rose had been off doing?
Rose was asked to infiltrate into the kiln's workings, machinations, what have you. Seemed that she had successfully done that, and there isn't much info past some info she passed along to Ave about that, like the kiln is working specifically with like like corruption magic and something doing these kinds of things. And that was very early on
Yeah.
in that exchange of information, and that the kiln was aware of Ave. So it was
Okay.
able to give this information.
Can you tell me what the kiln is doing?
I can tell you parts of it. I can tell you what you probably already know, that he is a beacon in Skull City, that he is incredibly intelligent and has created these lamps with the help of people a bit smarter than him. Recently, we've had a new member join the team, willingly or not, and she's been quite the help with making these lamps. But they work. They sap corruption from the earth and use them as energy.
Do they hold any extra power? Do they have a use beyond what's obvious?
Well, there is some storage that occurs, especially because if you tap an area, it takes a second for the corruption to fill back in the space. So it does have a small reservoir, but not enough that you could do much with, even with the large amount of them. Even if you tried to transport all of that energy a far distance and gather it somewhere, it would almost not be worth it. Can I think of a million terrible things I could do with it? Of course. It's just the way these are built right now. No. It's the most helpful shit I've ever seen.
Is that what you've been working on?
I've been doing a lot of work with that. A few other things, but I've been doing work with that project.
We're, with Sindri's blessing, going to kill a madman named Bosch.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware of the guard situation.
Can you give me any clue as to what to look for next? After that, well, I don't know if there will be us after that, but I don't think Ave was wrong about everything. So, after we kill Bosch, what should I look for?
Well, if you're interested, first off, I can't give you, a dossier about Bosch, but I can give you some info. Ave everything seemed right for a very long time, and some things aren't lining up for me now, and I don't know if that's a miscalculation on his part or mine. Maybe I did something wrong. In the end, I believe in what Ave is doing. And I'm going to follow through with what I need to accomplish to see that done. And whether you wish to know me, you can have it however you like. I got to make my choice, you get to make yours. But I'm hoping that you'll see what you need to do. And we're just, sometimes I feel like a half thing. And that becomes more and more apparent to me every day. I think we are stronger together. That's what I thought. And how did you lose your magic?
Okay. You don't have any shadows talking to you, do you?
I don't, unless you count the vitriol that Dagwood spews occasionally.
So when we met Dagwood to perform the ritual on Ave's body, she thought she could handle it, but her apprentice and we arrived, and there was a shadow there. I didn't know what to do, but the shadow seemed confident, and she was dying, and so I accepted the shadow into my life, and we finished what needed to be done. And now I thought the shadow was in some way tied to my tattoos, and I think Roshan will slip off a glove and show her that his hands are all tattooed now as well. And I don't know where it came from, if it was from Ave or if it's part of us, but when I made a deal with it, the markings grew, and not to get too terribly far into it, I think they're shades of people or gods who've passed, although whoever's in charge doesn't know who they are. And I can, it's like a split-second decision. If I want to save someone who's near to me, I can prevent death for, well, not very long. And I did it once with myself, and I did it again in the forest with Nana, and trying to be zen about it, but it's been longer this time since my magic disappeared, so I think it'll come back. I don't know.
Okay.
Have your markings grown?
My markings have changed.
Okay, well, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the shadow. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I did a lot of interference, a lot of work to see mine changed. And yours look a lot nicer. And she smiles.
Rose, is there a time after all of this is done that you see us not here and home, happy together?
I try not to think about it too much, because you got to look forward, but not too far ahead, or you start stumbling over the shit in front of you. Once
I just want to know that you're not looking at this like it's the end.
I don't know. Dagwood thought that her portion in the grand scheme was going to kill her, and it didn't. I've come to terms with if that's how things have to be, I understand. Because it's not about me, and it's not about you. It's about what we can do. It's about what we can do to help. And I've done a lot in the opposite direction, and I really need to tip those scales back. I need to know it was for something good. I don't know exactly what's at the end of this for me. And I'd love for it to be I go home. I'm not going to look you in the eye and lie to you about that.
If I hear that you're not fighting tooth and nail, I'll kill you myself.
Well, right now I think I could kill you with my bare hands. So hopefully when you come a knocking, you have something to bow up with. And it's a very playful threat. A slight threat, but very much a playfully intended one.
Roshan will throw a punch with all of his strength at her shoulder, and it will still do 0 damage.
Go ahead and roll me an attack.
Sure.
All right, babes, what's your AC? So you got any armor on? Take it off.
Ooh.
Ooh, kill him.
Like
Okay.
a 23.
Oh, you caught her off guard. She wasn't ready for the weakest punch in town to start sailing towards her. Roll me perception.
That's not a disadvantage.
I don't think so because it's
Okay.
wisdom. You're good.
So 20.
You make contact. You're almost shocked about it. And you make contact with her shoulder. And she's like, ow, shit. And kind of pulls back and is like, ow, you've struck me. Very, very hurt in the face. Like she's very offended about it. And she laughs and then coughs and straightens up. I'm probably gonna stay in town for a bit. You can come talk to me if you want to. We can talk about Bosch later. Just let me dwell on it and see if I can think of anything else. And if you see this shadow, I'd like to meet it.
Yeah. I don't know when they'll be back, but
Yeah.
I'll bring them around. And I think Roshan will hug her and start crying and say, I hate you so much and I haven't forgiven you. But we need to get through this because there is a stupid pink cunt that we need to kill together. The one who did this to us. The one who put a curse on Mom.
she kind of like takes you by the shoulder and like kind of like holds you back a bit. Jinli has always been on the list, Roshan.
Yeah. One more thing. Why can't we speak via magic? What's keeping you shrouded? Can
Oh.
I get around it?
Well, now you fucking can. And she kind of laughs, and she reaches in like to the top of her shirt and she begins to pull out this necklace. Roshan, you were pretty sure when you like, your fist made contact and there's like an itch at the back of your brain. And then you hugged her and pulled away. And now you're watching her fiddle with the front of her shirt. She's glamored. You don't know how much or where, but she is glamored. And she pulls out this necklace and shows you this broken orange gem. I didn't want people reading my mind. And I was around a lot of very powerful people. And I kept it on for safety. And I didn't feel safe taking it off a lot of the time.
I may have something that will allow you to do that. I shouldn't give it up. I shouldn't not ask.
When I get back, I'll figure it out. I hit branches on the way down, and I guess I landed directly on the gem. And
I
yeah.
am sorry about that. The woman who owed me a wish, she doesn't speak any language endemic to these two continents.
Or
And
this
she's
century?
several thousand years old, and we found her underwater. She could start another war, but it sounds like she doesn't want to. I'll tell you about it sometime.
Yeah, if she swings by you, you call me over too. I'm gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna go do. But I'm gonna go find something to do for a bit.
Well, it's a lot of math, but I'm working on some designs for a magic item in the workshop. If you want to swing by.
Yeah, maybe I will. I'll see if I have any openings in my schedule.
Funny.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Looks aren't everything.
Well, you're telling me. See, the thing is, when you were mad, like when you were like, all confident, it made it work, right? Like the starkness on the face, like it makes it work really, really well. It's just when you're big sad, it just doesn't look as cute. And I mean that lovingly, deeply lovingly.
What if I draw eyebrows on just a little bit more angry than my normal ones?
Yeah, I think like a solid, like very solid brow would do it some good. Like an energy behind it, right?
Yeah. I think Roshan kind of smiles as they walk, and when they get to like a fork in the road to go to the workshop, he'll just look at her and say, "I hate you."
I know. And she parts at the road and heads off back in the direction towards Blue Hat James's home and leaves you behind. Nix, I'd love to know what you were up to as Roshan now heads to work on his magic item. Fen is jogging around. Nana's hanging out with Thick Biscuit.
Mm.
What are you up to now?
We're supposed to go get Keld so we can set up this trail of gold items and other shiny things to
Mhm.
lure Nana to a pot. So that is the plan.
Okay. So you're gonna go to the house and get Roshan, or not Roshan. He's
Definitely
at
not
the workplace.
Roshan.
Roshan's not invited to my plan.
No.
Yeah, you head back to the house. Keld is scrubbing down the table.
Are you
Fun
ready
stuff.
to go do our plan?
Yes.
So you're gonna get everybody. I'm gonna start making the trail.
Okay.
I'm gonna start gathering a bunch of silverware and things just for extra shiny along the way.
Your mom just standing there watching you gather up silverware.
I'll explain it to her. So
We're
Nana
gonna bring
keeps
it back.
stealing everything, and we're gonna get her into the pot by making a line of shiny stuff. Because she'll pick it all up, and it'll be fine. We can put it back where it goes.
Oh, should I get everyone?
I think, yeah, we want it to be a surprise, so she doesn't see us all.
So maybe not everyone, but
Like, people could be milling about.
okay.
Like,
I don't know how quickly I could get everyone either.
right.
So.
Well, I do have to set up a whole trail, so we have a little time.
Okay, I'll go.
But I don't know how long she's gonna stay with Thick Biscuit.
True.
She did stay in there most of yesterday.
Might have to like knock on the door to get her to come out. Like, and then she might be distracted by the stuff on the ground. They'll work.
It'll work.
Okay, well, I'll go get your father and anybody else who doesn't have plans today.
Sounds good.
Okay. She walks by and like pats Russ on the back as she goes, and
Drag.
she goes to get the team. She does not make Russ go with her. Well, have fun doing your scavenger hunt.
Could help me set it up. It's a lot to carry.
Sure, I can help you set it up. Russ
Carry
will
old stuff.
Russ will come with you guys to help carry things.
Right.
Huzzah.
Yeah, tell me what this looks like, or if you guys talk about anything on the way, or what are we doing?
So, do you think we should start with like some bigger things right up front so she notices it immediately? Or what do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Catch
Is
her
she not going to
attention.
think this is insane?
I don't know. So I dumped out her bag yesterday, and it was filled with all of our silverware and other.
What if we spell
shiny
her
stuff?
name out with the silverware?
Like the whole, just over and over again.
Oh, maybe just once so she sees it.
Oh,
Just a thought.
so at the door we spell her name in silverware.
Do you want her to think that this was something done, or that somehow there's just silverware on the floor? What's the intent?
Maybe a little less obvious, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more of a surprise.
He drops a thimble on the ground.
Perfect.
Okay. Then you guys have to very quietly walk around the stables and start putting
Yeah.
little shiny tchotchke slowly in a line towards the pot. Now, would one of you, you know what, El, because you're both here, you both represent the town. Both of you roll me a luck check to see how far away the pot is from the stables.
Ooh, that's a good question.
This could be a
I got a
pot just
2.
says so much shit.
I got an 8.
Ooh, it's a haul. It's rough.
Damn.
That's why we
Uh,
need 3 people for this.
Yeah. At one point, Russ has to like go back and go get some things and come back again.
Ronald's
And
got good
I
perception. It
think we're
just has
just
to be
gonna have to
daylight.
like walk
you can
with
put a
her.
solid distance.
Yeah.
This is why I took some of her coins too, just because I thought it was pretty far.
Yeah. Good thinking.
Mhm.
Okay. So what's the first item gonna be? That is my item of interest.
Hmm.
What would speak to her the most? A coin?
Maybe like a solid, like little pile of coins.
Hmm.
I think that should be first.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you see in the distance, like just like Fen running his laps. There's just like a little outline of a guy running by. You begin the long haul of setting up coin after shiny tchotchke after coin, fire poker.
Everybody's picking this up.
Yeah, there's 3 kids show up like, holy shit, the jackpot. But you take your time setting up this, and eventually, I mean, it takes an hour. You are able to set up a vaguely straight, sometimes serpentining line of shiny objects to be stolen from the
Just get a
stables.
family circus,
the pot.
Nana, through the
And you behold your work, and Russ sort of like kind of squeezes you both on the shoulders. I should get back to chores. Gotta earn my keep.
She'll give him a hug before he goes.
Yeah, he'll give you a kiss and look at Keld and like and like leans in to kiss him and is just like just gets him at chest height, and then
Perfect.
Russ heads back to the house, and that's where we're going to stop for our break, is before the ultimate prank of friendship takes place.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for being here. Go get a snack and a drink, and we can get right back to it in 10 minutes.
Thank you, 10.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 181 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. I think we can jump back into things. Producer, could you mute yourself for me, please? Thank you. Unless you don't want to, it's up to you. Unless you want to hang out. Roll up a character sheet. Get in here. But currently, we have left off with a conversation between Roshan and Rose that seems to have gone okay. Does not seem to have ended poorly. Started off a little rocky, but how could it not? But seems to have at least ended in an okay spot. And Nyx and Keld have gone to lay a trap for Nana, which Russ assists in. But once it gets to the point where Nana is now actively going to be involved in the trap, he steps away and goes back to the house to work on some chore he is going to try very hard to find. He is going to actively look very hard for something to do. Or he's going to find somebody's roof to clean, as it's kind of all snowing. So it's probably a roof that need clean. So he heads off. You have laid your trap. Not anything in particular while you've been hanging out in the stables, or just vibing?
Mainly vibing. She's been kind of like handling the circlet from the temple to Scotty. Currently Roshan can't do magic, and I don't think anybody else in the party has identify. So her not being good with Arcana, she's just sort of looking at it. Just looking at it and just kind of using it as a fidget, basically, while she's just thinking about other stuff.
Yeah. I'm certainly not leading you in any way. I just think this is something Nana would be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
That Rose probably has similar magics to Roshan.
It's true.
Depending. But also, you'd have to go ask her.
Yes. Which...
For you, probably not as hard as for some other
No,
people. But
that's true. That's true. Probably not the hardest thing, although there's anxieties about that too. And like that's part of the reason I think why she's just been dilly-dallying in the stables this long and thinking this hard about it. Probably does get to the point where she's like, well, there's no point in just sitting here and staring at it, so I guess she kind of like stands up, pops the circlet into her bag. I hate to say it, she probably winds up pocketing something else from around the stable.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. That goes in the bag too. I'm sorry, but
There's
she
just a handful of sugar cubes that make it into your pocket.
No, those were for Thick Biscuit. I just kept them. No, stealing from my own horse. What
It's
kind
really
of
gone
horse girl am
downhill.
I? Anyway, onward we go. If I'm gonna figure out anything while I'm still currently affected by this, I guess I better go ask for some help. So, Nana will kind of make her way out of the stable with an intention to to maybe seek out Nyx and ask her where Rose is staying, since Nyx mentioned she knew last night.
Everybody is very aware that Nyx knows where Rose stayed.
And that it was not to be common knowledge until today.
Yeah. Nyx and Keld, what are you doing after you lay your trap?
Trying not to be suspicious, but
Probably hanging
Like,
out
be
in the
suspicious,
area
don't
of the
be
pot.
suspicious.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if you guys were like near the stable or the pot, or trying to be seen or not trying to be seen. Like,
What's the vibe?
Looking casual.
casual at the pot. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Center of
casual,
town. It's
closer
where
to the
people
vi-
hang out. It's the
Yeah.
center of town.
Rose might be there.
It's
Rose.
it's
Who
interesting
knows?
how so many people are hanging out in the middle of
Hmm.
town right now. What
Weird.
a busy day.
Huh.
We're just mingling with all of our,
Yeah.
neighbors.
Catching back up, it's been a minute.
Got
And
a lot catching up to do.
Yeah.
Keldon, Nix, is there anything in particular that you wanted at this, or is there anybody in town you wanted to make sure was there? Or is it like, this is for Nana and us, or is it multiple people, or is it, I want the coddler there, and I swear to God, if the coddler's not there, I will not do this.
Mm.
Like, what's the vibe?
I mean, I think at least like, our close family and
Yeah.
maybe Auntie Scala.
She's
Mm.
family. She'd be there.
Yeah, Auntie Scala 100% shows up.
Um,
Who else from our long list?
Pardon us while we check the list of on the backs of God's NPCs.
yeah.
No,
Oh,
no,
God.
not that list.
Oh, no, the shorter
A
one.
shorter list.
That's a mini list.
All these people are on that list,
It's true.
but there is a more
Mm.
condensed people of the community list.
The ladle's Rolodex.
Yeah. Surely, I mean, maybe the coddler's around looking for Goss.
Yeah, she'll
I
show
mean,
up for
her
an
and-
event.
Her and Scala were probably together. So
Oh yeah, you can basically any of the older people in town. You can probably find at least some of them hanging out together.
Yeah.
So you can get
Yeah.
a few of them.
I think those are the most important.
Yeah, those are definitely family.
Mm.
Do you want anybody from the party, or is it like this is a just us and
Oh,
Nana
yeah.
thing?
Mm.
Party.
Right,
Huh.
those guys.
Those people.
You
huh?
remember them?
Mm,
Up to you if it's like, hey, this is a community thing, or it's like, hey, this is
I
everybody.
mean,
I think we'd
Show
tell
up.
Finn if we saw him.
yeah, Fenn's running past us like multiple
he-
times. We'll wave
yeah.
him down once.
Yeah, Fen, you get waved down to be part of this this event. Be chill around the pot, just act normal. It's like, oh God.
Doing push-ups.
Don't be
normal.
suspicious. Don't
Uh,
be suspicious.
Jogging in
He's
place.
standing there sweating. Very normal, very cool and normal.
We
I
don't
think
tell him
after
what's
all the
happening.
laps, he wasn't sweating, but as soon as they're like, "Hey, be chill, man," he's just like cold sweat. It's just
Oh no.
We don't tell
Okay.
him what's happening, just that he has
Yeah.
to stay here.
Yeah.
after
Stay here, we're
the-
doing
be,
something.
Be cool.
You're gonna want to witness this.
Prepare to witness this, Fen. Okay. I'm ready. Nana, you step out of the stables to a clink clink kind of sound as your boot makes contact with a small pile of coin.
Drop these. Well, that's weird. And I mean, if somebody did drop them, they're probably gonna want them back, and they're all over the ground. So Nana's gonna pick them up.
Yeah, while you're picking them up, you see a thimble.
Oh, weird. Okay. Somebody must have a hole in their bag or something.
And then salad tongs a few yards away.
Well, there's the ladles. Nana's got a mystery to solve now. She is going to be picking these up, and yes, they're going in her bag, but of course
Well, you
she's
can't
gonna-
hold them all in your
No,
hands.
you
That'd be
can't.
silly.
There's too many. They'd fall out. And what's the point of picking them up if you're gonna fall out of your arms? So they go in the bag.
You slowly begin solving this mystery of seeing a lot of items on the ground, and you can't leave them there. That seems
No.
wrong and
Yeah.
actually impossible. It seems
Yes.
impossible to leave them on the ground.
It does.
The fire poker is a little unwieldy,
A
and
bit.
you just sort of you
Uh,
have to just hold
it-
it.
I get over one shoulder, I guess. Well, picking up stuff.
And you spend like 30 minutes to an hour
the
making your
hyperfocus is
way
real.
slowly through town,
Amazing.
picking
making my
up
way downtown,
things,
picking up coins and shit.
and eventually you all see in the distance the little shape of Nana take a few steps and then bend over and then stand up and take a few steps and then bend over and stand back up again and take a few steps. And this goes on for a hot minute as
Mhm.
you all have to casually watch her approach. Nana, you don't even see them. This is much crazier than anything else happening in town.
100%.
This is weird, but
Yeah.
you continue to gather things, and eventually you are standing. You see, like, you are at like the base of the pot. Everyone watches as Nana makes it to the pot. What are you guys doing?
There's also a pile of stuff in the pot if she
Oh,
sees it.
yeah,
Yeah.
she
Am I
straightens up.
able to like look
Yeah,
in
the
the
pot's
pot
pretty big, but you're able to get a look in, and
if
you
I
can
stand
see.
up?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you stand up and see that there are things in the pot.
Who did what?
Help me get her in there.
Yeah.
Nana kind of like goes to reach in to
You
get
watch Nyx and
Uh-huh.
Keld bum rush Nana and just like legs.
in the pot. There's a crash
The
and a
pot.
clatter. Silverware
Of
goes flying.
So many things make so many clattering sounds as you are pushed into the pot. And as you like struggle and you start trying to like right yourself,
But
you begin to hear like a very like loud sound that is, mixed in with the sound of clank and clatter as you are in a pot full of things that clank and clatter. It's people cheering and clapping. And you poke your head up and you see a large number of the community. Some you recognize from the pot mitzvah. Keld and Nyx's parents, Keld and Nyx, Fen, members of the community cheering and clapping. You can see that Auntie Scala is already like dragged over a barrel and has started to tap it. And everybody is cheering, and they're very much cheering at you.
I imagine Finn tries to clap for a moment and then realizes he can't.
You can do
you can
hard.
like
Do the
put
whistle.
on the
You
on
do
the leg.
the shoulder.
on the
Yeah.
shoulder on the yeah. I feel like Nana is just entirely speechless. Like she wasn't expecting this at all. She didn't see it coming. And now that it is happening, I think she's just open mouth, can't say a word.
While Nana is staring at this like clapping crowd, the grandpa kind of like smiles to the two of you and then steps forward and goes over, and you can see that he has not the extravagant crown of the pot mitzvah, but he does have like a little bit of a grass kind of like headband with like little sticky outy bits. Comes over and he places a hand on your shoulder. Welcome to the community.
Me? Really?
Plenty were vouching for you, and with that, you will always have a home.
That's the second that she breaks and cries and hugs the pot. Hugs the grand pot. As far around him as she can reach, which is nothing. But she's overwhelmed and just hugs him and cries. I think she can make out like thank yous from time to time, but she's a mess.
Grandpa stays and is like very cordial and like patting her back and like looks over to Keld and Nyx. Like,
We'll approach.
do you want to step in? Or like,
maybe
I could keep it up. I'm pretty. I could do this all day.
We could do the group hug. We'll slip it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys kind of take his place, and he kind of steps back and kind of looks on and like smiles, seems very content with the situation. As does everybody here. There's not like a snide face in the crowd. There's not a single person who's like, but why? It's the same for when Russ was put in the pot. There is no argument from the community. And Keld and Nyx give you a hug.
You didn't land on anything pointy, did you?
I don't think so.
Good.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Of course.
You can just like grab the things before you get. It's really hard to get down in there. It was a
Oh.
lot easier to just dump it in.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Not will start putting the stuff in her bag because that's where everything else is gone. The fire
If you
poker's sticking out of the belt
insist.
of returning.
Yeah, Nana gathers the things at the bottom of the pot. And you can
Alright.
come out whenever you want to.
All right.
We'll
Okay.
help her.
It's
When-
appreciated. She's a little short to be climbing out of
Scoop.
this very large pot. Oh God. I think she just doesn't really still have any words. I think she just kind of keeps returning to like hugging Keld and then kind of standing apart and hugging Nyx, and
Keep petting.
it's like she just keeps crying. She can't stop. She's a little embarrassed, but it's like she's overwhelmed.
Lead her towards the celebration area.
That's
Get
it.
her a drink.
Yeah, I think
There we
that's
go.
that's the play.
You all are welcome to drink and have a good little mid-morning party.
It's a
You got the
brunch.
mid-morning parties.
It's a brunch.
That's true. That makes the alcohol as that makes it fine and
we
cool.
can do mimosas or something, or shandies.
Auntie Scala, with her big sort of clawed hands and deep sort of gray and green scales, is content to it seems that she does it, pours a few drinks, like, look what I've done. So helpful and nice. Pours herself 2 drinks and immediately walks away from it.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to put on a show like you were
Yep.
doing it for other people. Then you take your drink and you go.
Wee! Yep.
But people constantly keep coming up to you, Nana, and hugging you or shaking your hand. There's a lot of welcomes as you are brought over. And it's just, there's food. People did not have a lot of time to prepare. So it's more of a lot of like finger foods.
What do we have? Yeah.
And somebody's like, I made this last night, and there's like a like a half-filled pot leftover thing, and it's like, here you go. Here's
Like
some.
this is more than
here's some
Nana
soup.
expected at all. This is all great. Like she's over the moon. She looks like it's Christmas morning. She's very happy and very thankful. And can't find very much to say beyond just thanks and small greetings and acceptances of these welcomes. It's strange, and she looks a little confused and not sure that it's really happening, but she's vibing and she's happy.
Okay. And that party can last as long as you want it to. There are people that are like, I
Yeah.
mean, like,
We
I
do have
showed up,
stuff
I
to
said
do.
my hellos, I had
Yeah.
a drink, I am actively on the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had your break
Fair.
here. Thank you for joining us.
I left my kid with my slightly older kid. I have to get back.
Yes, you do.
I truly have to get back now.
Yes, you do.
But there's good times to be had at this party. Is there anything else anybody wanted to do? We're kind of in the midday to later day category of anything anybody wants to accomplish.
After we clean up from the party, I think Nyx has now moved back into business mode and has to go look at journals to prep for this ritual.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. So probably in her room with just a pile of all of Grandma's journals around her.
Okay. Yeah, you are getting your details and prepping for when's your idea time frame? What are you aiming for?
I think she's going sooner rather than later. Like would have been today, but needed to do the pot thing.
Yeah. I mean, you still have plenty of day if you're so inclined, or you could do it at night. It's up to you.
It's true. Could be both.
There a way to tell when there's a rain coming? I don't know if you're doing the rain.
Oh,
or
we're
the
doing
fire.
fire.
thing.
We're not doing
Ah, it's
rain.
the
We're
fire
doing
thing.
Fire.
All right.
So I did cut out a little. Did you before you
Mm.
I asked you if you had like if you were doing it today, like is your goal today or is it tomorrow?
And if she could do it today, might as well continue the vibes if we can get
Yeah.
everything together for it.
Yeah. I will be very truthful with you. Your grandmother was like, here's the things. Fire, drugs, and my nude body. Those were the 3 components of a ritual for your grandmother.
And Mom mentioned mud, so
Yeah,
covered in
mud's
mud.
always useful. Yeah. It's like wearing clothes, but yeah.
More natural.
So you start studying up, preparing for possibly a ritual later today. Anybody else doing anything in the meantime?
Fenn's back at that haystack. He's now attempting to left-handed use a sling.
Mm.
And it's he might be getting the hang of it, but it's still awkward because like you hold the sling, but he doesn't have a hand to load it with. So
Well, Nana's
he's
kind of like to one side, like helping him load the bullets in. But, you know, he's
Nana pockets half of them.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That's also happening.
just stones.
Yeah, true.
I'm not sure this is going to be an effective means of combat. I think you're a lot more capable than putting your rock into the sling for me to throw, unless the enemy was way over there and not going to be here for a minute.
Yeah, it'd get cumbersome, and I doubt you'd be able to train Jenny to do it.
Doubt I could get her to pick up one of these stones. I'm not sure she's capable of it, even if she was willing.
She would require quite the bribe, I think, to attempt.
Might have to teach one of you to pick a lock too.
Well, not for nothing. At least as far as combat goes. You've made your feelings on crossbows very clear. However, there are mechanical advantages in this case. You'd be able to prop up the crossbow against, say, another surface, against your shoulder, to load it one-handed. It must needs be said. And you'd be able to fire it one-handed.
I find it repulsive and brutish, but I think that might be my only option, honestly.
I mean, pragmatically speaking, I know it's not ideal. I know it's not refined. It'll get the job done.
Well, we've got jobs to do. Keep an eye out for one the next time we're in a town with a weapons vendor and get the hang of being less refined.
Well,
It's not a terrible idea, and if it gets me back into doing something useful, the point now all I can do is listen really well and run away if I need to. That's where I'm at.
yeah.
Might be able to stab or slash at something left-handed, and I'm not sure that's ideal either.
You know, when I was testing out that big contraption on the dueling fields at the party, it occurred to me that there might be some kind of use for something that could function in place of a person's own limbs. Something that could work on a hinge, something that could strike in place of a hand, for example. However, theoretically, you could get anything on the end you wanted. You could get a compound bow on the damn thing if you so desired, but that would be rather cumbersome, so.
Just a thought. For the time being, get my hand on a crossbow and see how that works and see what we can do going forward. We'll see how it goes. I just don't relish the idea of being a burden, and just want to be capable of something again.
You and me both.
Well, these you've obviously accomplished quite a bit to be welcomed into this community.
Well,
They've earned themselves a great new neighbor.
not sure about that, but that's kind of you to say.
They obviously saw something in you, and I can't fault them for that.
Wish I knew what it was.
No, everyone else knows. It's all right.
Awfully cruel to keep it from me, but that's fine.
Yeah, you just need to listen better. Do we not tell you all the time?
And a fat lot of good it did me at the party.
I think if you'd have succeeded at the party, we'd probably be in a much worse situation right now. Nix would be nursing her husband back to health. We wouldn't have had his help when we did. We wouldn't have had their help in the forest, the brushwood. No, there's still work to be done. We just need to figure out how to do it.
I'm not just talking about the duel, Fen. I'm not just talking about Russ.
Oh, well, what's on your mind?
Fen, you're my friend, right?
So I am. Why would you even deign to ask that question? Mama, you're the best friend I've ever had.
See, the thing is, I don't think that's right, and I can't tell if it's because of you or because of me, but I don't. I don't. I spent the whole party concerned for you.
Why were you concerned for me?
Because you were under the effects of some kind of compulsion, some kind of magical something or other, and I know you, and I wanted it to stop. So I was trying to figure out who was doing it. And near as I could tell, it seemed to be Corrine.
And gets an internal little pang of grief at the mention of Corrine. She hasn't
mhm.
been at the top of his mind recently, but yeah, at the mention of her name.
Yeah. Fen, Nana is your best friend. And there are things in this world that you don't understand. And that's okay. And you understand that you have the qualities that you have and the things you are good at. And sometimes fancy mumbo jumbo magic's not your, the greatest of understanding. Social situations, not the greatest of your understanding. Corrine, a touchy subject. Corrine could be a bad person. Corrine could have been manipulating you, or Corrine could have been kind and showed you a very good time, even if it ended in a sorrow. You don't think Nana a liar. You truly do not think this malicious. There is no way you could ever believe that you were mind controlled at this party. That is the first truth you will not believe.
No, I don't think that's fair.
Then can you tell me what happened? You walked away from me. You just turned away in the middle of a conversation to just look at her. What were you? I was alone there, Fen. I was scared out of my wits. I didn't know if we were going to find Bosch there or some agent of his or somebody else that we pissed off along the way. And you break off in the middle of talking with me to just moon at somebody across the way. What was I supposed to think?
I'm sorry I let you down. That was my doing. She was the host. She brought us in. She brought me in. I wouldn't have been in there by any other means.
It's all very
I
very
didn't-
tidy and it's fine.
I
It's
didn't
fine.
mean to.
It's fine.
It's not. No, it's really not. This is me letting you down. This is a thing I did, and another thing I need to make recompense for.
I just want to figure out why. I just want to understand. I thought I knew you. I thought you'd have my back.
I'm sorry, Nona. I can scarcely remember her face at this point. I just know she was kind to me. And you've always been kind to me as well. I'm not saying that you haven't. You haven't been the truest of friends, but you always have been the truest of friends, the best anyone could have hoped for. You stood by me, and through ups and downs, we've trekked through the valley together. I don't know why I did that. I just chose to. I thought maybe I suppose I thought maybe you'd forgive me, as you always do.
This one might take a while, Fen.
I understand.
I'm not gonna leave you in the lurch here, okay? I'm not gonna not take care of you, and I'm not gonna leave you by yourself. On a strange side of the continent with nobody else we know, but I don't know.
I don't know why I can't. Never mind, Nana. This was supposed to be a good day for you. But,
No, it's okay, Fen. I haven't really had a good day in almost a year, so it's just one more on the end of a long line of things. It's okay.
I was having some good days, and you kept insisting that someone was in my brain. When I thought I might have just been happy for a moment, but in a way I hadn't been since Nettle passed. That someone actually
I didn't
like
want to say anything.
it's
I
that someone
didn't
might
wanna
like
take-
me for who I actually was. It
I
should,
didn't want to take that from you. If that was real, if that
then
was
why
what
say
you
anything
wanted to
now?
be, because obviously she wasn't going to do that for you. And the fact that I just let her play with you for a week or more, magically or not, whether you believe me or not, you call me a friend. You call me the truest of friends. You call me so skilled, so good at what I do. If I were as good as you tell me, I would have seen something happening if it were there. Something. Anything, really. I was just in the dark the whole time.
Well, clearly, as skilled as either of us are, we're still capable of making mistakes in one way or another.
Lily.
Ben's gonna pick up his sling and kind of stuff it into his pocket, and he's gonna go back to his pouting tree.
This tree has been designated very specifically for introspection and misty eyes. And Fen makes his way back towards Nix and Kelt's home. Nana, anything you wanted to accomplish? You talked about where you were going prior to the pot ceremony. I
Yeah.
don't know if you still have any of that in mind, but just seeing.
Well, probably at the very least, she'd go to ask Nix where Rose is staying so that if there's not enough daylight left to comfortably visit with her today, then maybe tomorrow. So I think she'd try and go figure out where Nix is at present. I know she was looking at journals and getting together materials.
You walk past Fen at his pouting tree and go to see Nix inside. Don't look, don't make eye contact. You head inside.
We're just
Yeah, Nix
having a
is
break.
sometimes you got to sit at your tree or hang out with your horse. It just
Yeah.
be like that.
It just be like that. Sometimes you got to dissociate in the bath, just be like that.
Yeah, you find Nix. Once again, everyone, this is downtime. Time is kind of not real.
Cool. Anything can happen anytime, anywhere.
Basically, unless you're like, this is an 8-hour activity, walking around town, finding and talking to people does not take 8 hours.
This
So
ritual,
you're able to
though.
find. Yeah, this ritual could take some time.
A minute. At least.
Yeah, you find Nix.
Cool. Nix, are you busy?
Surrounded by books.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to.
What are we doing?
Well,
what is it?
I'm trying to figure out. Well, earlier, I was trying to figure out what was the best thing to do about the circlet that I got from the temple to Scotty.
Wear it.
Call me paranoid. Magical items, just like throwing them on. I'd like to figure out what it does first. I'd just
Images
like
of
to figure out what
Nix
it
dropping dead come to mind for everyone.
does. I just like what it does. That's all.
Or Tordrick being in a catatonic state.
Yeah, some
Well, to this
magic
very
items
day,
aren't nice.
It's
Uh-huh.
fine.
a circlet was in fact what knocked out Tordrick. So
It can't happen twice, guys. It's fine.
That's
Don't say
illegal.
that.
It's like lightning. Can't strike the same spot twice.
But what about church spires, though?
Mm.
So
Anyway,
you just want to find out. I can't do that.
right, and normally I know Roshan's able to, but I'm I'm the reason why he can't right now. So, I'm thinking possibly Rose might know, or might be able to suggest something about it. She's pretty good with magical things and magical knowledge.
So you want to go talk to her?
I mean, if she's up for talking with anybody else today, if not, I mean, I'd just like to know where she's at.
Sure, let's go.
Okay,
I'll bring my current journal with me.
cool.
Okay.
While we go, Nana's like asking, so what are you doing? What are you looking into?
I'm gonna do a ritual to hopefully, well, reconnect with the earth because need to regrow Fenn's arm, but also Kel needs something that's not just wood. I think maybe it'll work. So, gonna have a fire at least. Here,
Okay.
I'll just show you the book. So this is what my don't read don't switch pages. You probably don't want to read the other pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nana believes her is a little
Just this section probably
okay.
about
Yeah.
the fire, not the rain. We're
Mm.
not doing the rain because it's not raining. Fire.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure
Yeah.
you'd
Nix,
know
you
if it
have
was
to
going but-
quickly flip past a very detailed drawing that your grandmother did of her own anatomy, and gotta flip past that real fast because there's friends here. Don't look.
The equivalent of opening your phone's photo album and having to scroll past and
Scroll
fix
really fast past something. Yeah. You lead her
Mhm.
back towards Blue Hat James's house,
Mhm.
and Rose is currently sitting outside. She's like thrown down a blanket and is just kind of like sitting with her back against the wall, sort of lounging there.
I brought you another person to talk to.
I really liked you, and I feel like this
Last,
seems
the last one, I promise.
like spiteful.
The next one I will lead to the other side of town.
Okay, thank
Sorry.
you.
I'm sorry, Rose. Genuinely, if you're not feeling any company at the moment, I can come down.
I mean, as long as you're not going to ask me anything, emotional and personal, I'm up for it.
I've had enough for that for today. So
Thank you, as have I. So, good.
This circlet that I was gifted by a statue in a temple in the
Mm.
brushwood,
Ah,
related to Scotty, if that
okay,
helps at all.
maybe.
Do you know the I don't know. I can't quite figure out exactly what the circlet does. I don't know if you happen to have an identification spell of any kind available to you, or if you might be able to know anything about it just by observing it.
Yeah, give me 10 minutes. She holds
Sure.
out a hand.
All right, Nana will give her the circlet. And the 10 minutes do happen.
Rose sits there and sort of spreads the snow away on the earth and puts the circlet down and places a hand above it. When she holds her hand out over the item, you watch her hand is like tremors as she holds it there. And inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And over the course of 10 minutes, this breathing begins to build up, and it seems to start overlapping on itself as if multiple people are breathing in the space. And you watch her eyes start to go dark and fade off. And comes back and begins to cough aggressively and
Oh,
grips at the ground.
Are you all right?
And she spits, and she immediately tries to smear it away into the grass and the snow. It is black. There's no way you two could have avoided seeing it. And she kind of wipes away and then like wipes her hand off on her pants.
Rose, are those worms?
I don't think so. You're welcome to look through my spit if you want.
Something similar has happened to me before.
Oh, your heartworm
I-
thing that you talked about?
Yeah.
I don't think I have heartworms.
I very much
If I
hope not.
do, it's not like, if I do, I haven't noticed.
It's for the best. It did come on pretty quickly after the initial infection happened, so you'd probably know if it's been a while.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I mean, I know I would not want to feel that again. Would hate for you to be feeling it now.
Well, I don't think it is, but I'll keep an eye out for worms moving forward.
You'd
This
feel
is
'em in your
very.
chest.
Oh, I feel it everywhere. And she
Oh, fun.
she holds out the circlet.
Okay.
This is very good. You should keep it.
Really? Well,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
okay. What is it is it a spell that it's storing, or is it a
Well,
ability?
there are spells stored within it, but it is an aspect of duality. It is the good and the bad mixed into one. Um, it is a wedding gift. It was a gift to Scotty. This is Hell's dowry. And she begins to explain to you that while you are wearing the circlet and attuned to it, you acquire spells like Bless, Detect Evil and Good, and Bane. But it seems while using spells like Bless, you have to bane something, and while using bane you have to bless something, so it's
Oh.
like both things are happening simultaneously.
A balance.
Yeah, something has to be actively happening at that time. Also, your wisdom score becomes 19.
Holy shit!
Uh,
Oh God! Okay.
yeah, I'll send you the info for that in a bit, but
Thank you.
it makes your wisdom score 19, if unless you're already at or above 19, blah blah blah. You can cast each of the spells once a day, blah blah blah, but you have to give both out.
Okay.
It is a give and take.
How cool. Duality. That is interesting.
Yeah, no gray thinking with this circlet.
Mm.
I guess that makes sense for hell, but
Yeah,
I'm not an
okay.
expert.
So,
Mm.
what are the odds that a statue in a temple in the brushwood would find out if I just didn't bring this back? If I had said I would.
What kind of, can you give me information about the statue? And you're welcome to give
Yeah.
her the download.
whole
She's
spiel.
gonna roll. She's gonna roll to
The
figure it out.
temple, like the approximate distance from them woods so far as Nana can recollect it, and
This is
the
gonna be a
temple's
religion.
features.
Gosh, can I convince myself it's an Arcana check? No, I can't. I can't convince myself of that. I'd love to for you, Rose. Let's see. You know what? I will give her advantage because she has somebody actively talking to her about it and 3 people to theorize on the
Yeah.
topic. So
Yeah. And like
She'll
Nyx
do her
was
best.
there too. So
Yeah,
like we have
I can give extra details.
exactly. If Nana missed anything because she was looking at the ground picking up coins, Nyx has us.
okay, all right. Okay. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. There are a lot of constructs. You can have constructs verging from a piece of wood with legs that is pretty good at running around sometimes, or you can have a construct that is almost indistinguishable from a person until you look at it, because they are either sentient because a spirit is placed into them, or through magic, or a touch from God, or what have you. From what you're describing, it seems to be very powerful. It seems to be enchanted very heavily, that it's gone this long without unenchanting. This is probably a blessing.
Okay.
This creature was made from a blessing from Scotty.
Oh.
So this is God magic. And that makes it probably possible eventually this thing could figure it out, but I don't know if it has a way of locating you or communicating with you, so you might be perfectly fine. But it seems intelligent, and it is fueled by the power of Scotty, a blessing from a holy entity. So
And it
take that
seemed
as you
to
will.
be like really set on the job of protecting and keeping the treasures of Scotty there. I don't know if it's able to tell where things from the temple go when they
Beats me.
leave.
You have to
Mm.
risk it, I guess.
Or get ready to fight a giant statue.
Oh, I wouldn't fight one of those things.
Okay, cool. All right. If it comes down to
Mhm.
it, I'm giving it
You
back.
said it had
but
a necklace of stone heads.
yeah,
I can only assume it did that. That
I
it
think so.
made those.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't
yeah.
want to fight it.
No.
Is there anything else that you need me to be a magic mule for you or whatever?
Well, it's appreciated. Thank you for the
Yeah.
help.
I'm not doing anything else for a bit.
I guess I'm just curious. The only other thing that I've been thinking about is this little jade piece. She takes out the broken thing that she got from the Lost and Found that Kareen offered to us before the party. I remember it was like said to be easily enchantable, but like only in a short term kind of way.
It depends. Depends what you're putting in it.
I'm wondering, is there any way that this one gem could be split in two and still be able to be enchanted, or does it have to be a whole piece to work?
A talented craftsman would have to do it. If you went and took a wedge to it and you hit it with a hammer, you would break the magic inside of it. But if there is somebody who is skilled with crafting magical items, they could probably do that.
Okay. Makes sense. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really a lot
No
of help.
problem.
Are you comfortable? Do you need anything?
Oh, I think I'm good. I just don't want to be inside right now.
Yeah.
I'm just
Are you
thinking.
still feeling stuff from the brushwood?
Honestly, no. I think I'm just feeling my real people feelings.
I can't quite tell for myself.
Let
Nana
me
with
look
like
at
her
you.
whole ass bag that's like bulging with shit that she's stolen.
Uh-huh.
Can't
don't know.
tell, huh?
Not
Yeah.
really.
I guess give it another night. See if you feel any better.
Yeah, sleep will do a lot, especially anywhere else but there. So
Well, and she slaps her thighs.
Yeah.
She does not get up or move.
Yeah.
She's kind of like the reverse. She's like, well,
yeah. All right.
you got it.
Yeah, don't want to keep ya.
Well,
We-
that's me for today.
Nana will retreat with thanks.
All right then. I have a different location I need to go to.
Mm.
Start preparing.
Yeah. Do you need any help setting up?
I think I'm okay. It's not much.
Okay. You gonna do it by yourself, the whole ritual? 8 hours?
I might invite people if they want to be there. I don't know if it's really gonna do anything for anyone else other than me.
Well, I mean,
I'll make my rounds to tell people before I go to start.
well, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind being there.
Sure.
I'm curious. I'd like to see the ritual happening.
Okay.
Set up.
Okay, you guys go to set up for the ritual. Roshan, you're working on your magic item. Keld, what would you like to do?
Held at some point throughout this day of downtime wants to find Roshan. I don't. I guess it'd
I
probably
don't think
be.
that's a hard task.
Yeah. I don't remember where he was working on this though.
Easy enough to find it. Once again, downtime, anything's possible. I'm not too much. I was told I was too mean by my own flesh and blood. So you can locate Roshan.
Hallelujah.
Now make a wisdom saving throw. No, I'm kidding.
Now everybody wisdom save and a couple dexterity checks. Thank you. Thanks.
They'll show up
Yeah,
with
he's-
tea.
Yeah, I think Roshan is in the workshop. I think there are several points throughout the day where he has to he gets distracted from his work and needs to do some breathing exercises because his magic's not back and he doesn't want to panic. But he's probably just got his red bound journal out in front of him. And he's got the worry stone set next to him and is working on just writing all kinds of magical symbols and stuff down in his notebook around it.
Jargon. Hild will set the teapot on the table next to him and sort of, I guess, sit down across from him.
I think he clams up, but he'll say, is there anything I can help with?
Maybe. I just needed to ask, what did you mean the other night in the brushwood? You said not to trust you.
I don't think you need me to tell you how much of a failure that all felt. Felt like every decision I made things worse. And Kel, you're so fucking dashing. You're always there if I can't keep my shit together and the shadow needs and you brought me back from near death, and every time it gets harder to believe that I deserve it. And when it comes down to it out there, I got tunnel vision and I lost sight of what I promised to do.
I can understand that. I feel like
And
I had some sort of tunnel vision too.
and instead I've gone and made the problem worse. I bargained away my ability to make sure that people stop getting hurt.
What do you mean?
The hag Lurk took certainty out of my future, that successes may turn to failures in front of my eyes. And Keld, I don't want to be responsible for anyone else getting hurt. The first time you got a nosebleed and, I don't know, almost had your brain blasted out of your head, and then next time you lost a hand, what's next? What's next that I can't stop? I don't want to be responsible for hurting anyone anymore.
Roshan, the only way you're going to be responsible for hurting anyone is if you hurt someone. And I know you have no intention of that. Anything that just happens to happen, I mean, that's life. There's been so much happening lately that's out of our control. So I understand the fear there.
It's out of my control, and I don't know if I can trust myself. I don't even have magic anymore. I don't know if it's going to come back. And I don't want people picking up my slack.
Well, sometimes you have no choice. Maybe there's a way to get that magic back.
It came back, I guess, on its own last time. And just trying not to spiral and just hope that it will. I'm really sorry for what happened out there. I know you and your sister trusted me, and I haven't done anything to earn it. And I'd understand if you never trusted me again, because I'm finding it really hard to trust myself.
Yeah. Thank you for the apology. It definitely hurt Nyx a lot. But I could see how it happened, so I just don't want you to give up on yourself. Because we still need you.
It's nice to hear that.
And I hope you still want to help us.
I want to help, but maybe it'd be better if I don't know, helped from a distance. I
What do you mean?
don't know. I don't want to need to be carried through something. And I don't know how to make sure that I don't need to be.
Hmm.
And I'm already bad at asking for help because I don't know what I need. And
That
so I don't
would
know,
make it difficult.
I don't know what to ask for to get better, to prevent shit like this from happening again. forgive myself for what did happen.
Was it the shadow? I haven't seen it in some time.
The shadow, what?
Has it been helping or hindering?
Helping, I think. I think the shadow's what prevented Nana from. It's like I saw her falling in and impaling herself on something like foresight, and the shadow. I just knew that the shadow could prevent it. And now the shadow's gone, and I have questions about it, but hopefully it'll come back.
I'll try to think of someone we can ask about this magic. I'm
Yeah.
just at a loss.
Sorry, I am too. How do I apologize to Nyx and ask for forgiveness when I haven't done that for myself?
Two birds, one scone.
I don't know if it works like that, but
Well,
I can. Do you think she wants to hear that be apologized to, or do you think she just wants nothing to do with me?
it's definitely not that. We were both just concerned and unsettled. The whole trust thing, I think proving, or I guess maybe explaining what you meant to her would help. Because it was very alarming at the time, so.
It's still alarming, but I'll try.
Yeah, I think keeping everything to yourself only makes it worse.
Yeah, shame is a powerful drug. Thanks for being so understanding.
I try.
I don't know how you keep it so cool.
I'll be honest. I don't understand a lot right now, but I'm trying.
Well, I'll help if I can.
Thanks. I'd appreciate it.
So were you just coming here to talk, or did you need help with something?
I just wanted to talk.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah. I'll let you get back to that.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have something to show for it soon.
We'll see. And then Killed will mosey on.
Do a little dance out of the workshop.
Yeah, he left the tea.
Oh, that was very kind.
Mm.
Roshan will pour himself a cup and get back to work.
However
Okay.
many hours it's been, we know Roshan has not touched any food or drink since he arrived in this workshop.
Yeah,
Who has time for that when they're working?
yeah.
Keld, you make your way out and you swear just like on the corner of your vision, you can see just like that heat mirage, that wave of energy. But, full glance, nothing there. And you head out.
Heat Mirage. Do I recognize it from something before?
You've seen the shadow's energy have a similar flair to it.
Hmm. They'll
And
clock that and mosey on.
They dances out. Well, I think I should just get to it then. Nix, who's invited to this?
Gosh. I mean, I think everyone gets an invite. Doesn't mean she's gonna push for people to show up, but they will all get invited.
Okay, so I'm assuming that includes the party. Is anybody outside of the party invited?
I think she would jokingly invite her mother because she knows her mom hates it.
Mm-hmm.
We can get stoned together. It'll be great.
Your mom
They're
says
getting
she'll think about
stoned?
it.
Mm-hmm. Would offer Russ as well, but knows he does not want anything to do with them either.
Mm-hmm. He seems like he honestly, genuinely would have done this with you, but he can't, and offers is so excited for you to do this, but just can't be there for it.
Don't worry, there's like a whole book of rituals. It's fine. We'll find other rituals.
Of course, I am very talented at magic and rituals, so I'll
Mhm.
I'll lead the next one.
Then, we'll invite Rose. She wanted outside time. Like, this is an outside event. Hmm. You
So
can
what's
come
the
if you want.
criteria of do
Uh,
I just have to, is it a witness thing or
I mean, you could like play a drum or something if you're feeling it.
mm,
I don't
I'll
think
see what's
no one else is like required to do anything. There will be
Uh-huh.
drugs if you want them.
I'll check my schedule.
Get it? I understand. Tell her the general area it would be in.
Okay. Rose has been invited. Everybody in the party has been invited. Is there what is any physical prep that you have done?
She would have set up the fire, not
Mhm.
started it, but set that
Yeah.
up. Made sure there was something available for Mud
Yeah.
to make that when she gets there. Maybe bring some blankets for people if they feel like sitting down and being covered up at all at some point, because I don't get to do that, but they could do that.
Yeah.
And then the drugs. So
Okay.
just the
How
vein.
are you preparing them? Or are you just guys like I'm just going to take some water and swallow dry leaf? Or are you going to try and steep it? Or are you going to,
Oh, she'll make one of her teas that people
Uh-oh.
yeah,
love to
she'll make her
have.
terrible teas. Perfect. Um,
That everyone
This
loves
one
to
doesn't
have.
kill us.
of course. Of the party, raise your hand if you are coming to the event.
I think if Roshan, if she tells him if she goes around making the announcement, then Roshan would probably apologize to her and then come. But if you want to do that now, we can. So yeah, I think she would come in on Roshan, who has an empty pot of tea, but in the exact same position as Keld left him.
Mm. So I'm doing this ritual, and you're invited. Everybody's invited if you
Oh.
want to come.
Yeah, can I?
No, you can't have any of the drugs, but you can do the other parts.
I didn't know there was drugs involved. Nix, is now a good time? Can I apologize now?
You don't have to apologize, but sure.
I do. I was at an all-time low in the brushwood. And when we got in there, I got tunnel vision and I lost sight of what was important and what I'd promised to do. And I understand if you aren't ready to forgive me or don't forgive me at all, because I'm struggling to do the same thing for myself. And I'm sorry I scared you when I said that you shouldn't trust me, because
Didn't scare me. I heard that whole thing of why you said that. I listened to every part of the deals. That didn't bother me. We all mess up. I appreciate the apology. It's just like I get it. But I don't understand why this keeps happening.
I don't either. And I'd like to search for deeper meaning, but I just keep coming back to this idea that I'm a piece of shit, and I don't.
That
What?
I don't know about that. Just
I don't know how to say it other than I'm sorry, and I hope you can learn to trust me again. I need to learn to trust myself again, because what the hag took from me is really, really frightening, because people keep getting hurt because of me. And
who's
I'd love to
gotten hurt
prevent it.
because of you?
Well, Nana, Held, you.
No idea what.
I'm the reason Keld was missing a hand in the first place, and also the
No?
reason that Nana also almost lost hers.
Nana touched a plant that poisoned her.
Yes.
So I don't think so. Kel chose to put his hand into that mouth. He could have not chosen to do that. None of that is you making people get hurt. You didn't shove his arm into the wolf's mouth.
Sure. But I have this sinking feeling that if I hadn't been there in the first place, neither of those things would have happened. Maybe something else bad would have happened too, but I wish I could say that I could prevent those things, but I can't. And it's
None of
gonna keep
us
happening.
can. That's okay. None of us can prevent bad things from happening. We just try to make them as best as we can. It's you don't get to have a choice at this point. You're coming to the fire. You're doing the ritual. The fire version, it's singeing of the. I think you're gonna dance. You have to do that. You need to fix whatever this energy. Do you want me to regrow your hair potentially? I think that this might help. Maybe like the arm regrowing thing could help me with that, and you can try again. We'll figure that out.
Try
I
for a
think
better haircut.
I think Roshan is really just caught off guard by the regrowing his hair thing. And just mumbles and is like, yeah, do you need my help with anything? Not doing much here.
I already said it. You have to just be there.
Okay. Give me a time.
Let's go.
Oh,
You were last on my list because, yeah. Furthest away from that side of town. Gotta make the circle.
yeah. I think Roshan is still very timid, but does walk closer to you this time. Progress.
Roshan, high or low?
Hi.
Okay. Rose does come to the ritual. She just sits on one of the blankets though. She doesn't seem to be like interacting at all, but she's like, I was invited to the ritual. It does seem a little rude to say no to a ritual invite when I'm a guest.
And
She's
they're
not
wearing
required to be there the
really
whole
dressed.
time. It is 8 hours.
That's true.
Okay. I'm gonna turn over a lot of this to you, Nyx. Tell me how this starts, or if you explain things to people, or what. Kick us off.
I think she would start with just doing the briefest explanation of what's in this journal. So, my grandma, she didn't really write instructions. It's not really it was more vibes, but I did do this, not this specific one, but other things like this with her when I was little. So we would go, not in the middle of the town, just kind of in this little area. What we do. So this one, it's dancing around the fire for quite a while. And I have this mud over here that we have to undress. You're going to cover yourselves with mud. And then you just dance. There's also drugs. I'm going to have the drug tea. You're not all required. Roshan, you're not allowed to have the drug tea. There's 1 cup too few. I'm sorry.
Right. He gets some water.
Mhm.
Sad boy needs to hydrate.
You guys are welcome to stay for the whole time or go when you need to. I have to stay for the whole time.
Okay.
How long is the whole time?
8 hours.
Oh,
I mean, I feel like
That's a
if
long
you've got
time.
enough drugs,
Mhm.
it really won't matter much.
can we sleep here?
I mean, probably.
That won't interfere, right?
So there are the blankets. You can take a nap if you need to. or you can go home. I'm fine either way. Roshan's required to be here for 8 hours,
Gotta dance
based
this
on
bad
what
vibe
I've
out.
heard.
You hear Rose
Er.
snort. And then she like kind of like focuses elsewhere.
I think before we get undressed and start putting mud on our bodies, like right before that,
Yeah,
Um,
right before.
right before that, Roshan, who's sitting next to Rose, will just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm like fully addicted to Onset, so I'm not allowed to have any more drugs," and then just walks away.
Damn it, Roshan.
Okay.
So smart and he's so dumb. I love him.
And he's like, I gotta go.
Bye. Gotta go dance in a ritual for 8 hours.
Sorry, I gotta get covered in mud.
Slather it on, boys.
Mm.
And right before, like before you like say that while you're sitting next to Rose, just before she's like, I was coming to come see you, and then each time I walked up, somebody was walking in there to talk to you and have like an intense conversation, and I bad luck hit it twice. So
Yeah, it's been a day, but we'll talk tomorrow.
of course, yeah, okay.
Hmm.
And then you tell her you're addicted to drugs, and then you go
Not
to the
Yeah.
mud pile.
As one does.
As one does. We'll
Um,
talk about it tomorrow. I have to go dance for
uh,
8 hours.
Yeah, Rose stays on the blanket. She does not come over. So raise of hands, who's naked and covered in mud?
I think Ben's gonna get naked and covered in mud. He's probably not dancing.
Wow.
Like he'll do the drugs, but he's probably
Vibing.
just
Just
Just kind of
vibing.
like
and
Yeah.
stuff.
wallflower by the side.
Yeah.
Ah.
Wow. Crazy. Okay.
Oh,
I can't feel my arm.
Oh, man.
Oh,
buddy.
weird.
And he's like, oh,
Oh.
thank God. Okay,
Oh,
like,
thank God. It's actually gone.
a
That's
moment
why.
happy
That's
to be like,
fine.
oh, we're good.
Oh, fine.
Keld's like, can I
It's
feel
not
my arm?
broken.
I don't know.
Oh. Ooh.
Raise your hand if you're doing drugs.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Roshan's not
Um,
allowed.
I would stop him if he went near it.
Just slap a teacup.
Good
at
boy.
his face.
Yeah.
He's been a good boy.
No,
Um,
I
No.
take my job seriously.
Nix, this is your fun ritual.
Hmm.
Can you tell me what you think the effect of the drugs are?
Mm.
What do people experience?
I think it's more of a psychedelic effect, just like
Mm-hmm.
making the fire seem like more alive than it actually is, and just the world around them like kind of closing in. Whereas clearly we're right near town, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. You just-
Mhm.
The space has
Mm.
expanded
Yeah.
and we're expanding.
Exactly.
You know,
Mm.
Okay.
like you do.
And what this takes a minute to take effect. This is not like
Mhm.
an immediate thing. So,
Yeah.
you have to consider starting to dance naked and cover yourself in mud sober.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a sober choice you get to make.
That's
Um,
fine.
Why not?
yeah.
Start off the
Which-
ball rolling.
which you all make to join in on this ritual. Near the top, like while everybody's like starting to get things off and people are drinking tea, you see two figures approaching.
Oh, no.
And it is your mother and father.
Okay.
Are we naked?
You guys are in the process of getting naked.
Okay.
Uh, and they come over. Well, I should do it once.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Mom's
Mm.
hip. Mom's cool.
Get her cup of tea.
Ah.
Your father and your mother like lock arms and like and you watch them just knock back the entire cup instantly. This
Damn.
they
Bros.
seem they seem very comfortable with the fact that they're about to do
This can't be
an
their
unknown
first ritual.
Dad probably needs like a second one. He's gigantic.
yeah,
He's
you
pretty
probably
dang big.
the grandpa and Keld probably do need a second
Yeah.
dosing.
Yeah.
especially because this is older and probably has lost a bit of its potency, which is probably for the
Mhm.
best for
Yeah.
a lot of
Most
people's
of
first
us.
psychedelic experience.
Mm,
I mean, like, I
So-
don't know if the Lady Satyr drops count as psychedelic if they're
Oh, yeah.
divine in nature, but like,
like a little
It's-
bit.
it's
They're
different.
vaguely psychedelic.
Yeah, we had a
it's more
real
it's
bad
more
trip.
it was more premonition than psychedelic, but
Mhm.
it probably felt very psychedelic adjacent.
okay, okay.
But your father picks up one of the drums and just starts doing just like a solid beat on the drum. And Nyx, can you tell me what you do, what your intent is, and what you think the outcome will be? Or some variant of that.
So I think her initial intent was just to reconnect with nature in general,
Mhm.
because it's been a hot minute since she's even just meditated. So that's why we're going all out with the 8-hour version of this ritual and not a short one. And throughout it, she's planning to cast the long version of plant growth.
Okay.
So really trying to use all the magic she can to bolster not just herself but the community directly around her through it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the outcome is she's able to do this spell that she's been trying to figure out of regrowing originally Kel's hand, but now Fenn's arm and maybe some skin for Kel's hand and other
Yeah.
people's future body parts.
Mm.
And I think also part of this outcome is going to be her becoming more combined with these spores to getting this new ability that she is having.
Okay. And you all begin to dance from the scale of not dancing to dancing like you are in a ritual and very high. So wherever you fall on the scale, that is where you fall on the scale. The fire is a thing of majesty. Every tiny little flick of an ember that flies off, the most entrancing journey to behold is every flick and dance and waver. And there is a depth to it. There is something inside of it. There are things living in there, Nyx, and you immediately feel this connection. These are the spirits she was talking about. They're in there. And you have to coax them out. You have to convince them that they should leave the fire and come to you. And you dance. Everyone covered in mud and moving around this fire with reckless abandon. Time becomes vaguely irrelevant. Watching the stars overhead sort of warble and move, and you feel like you can see just the plethora of colors overhead, and you can see the depth of space above you and the beauty of the moon high above, just this giant white light staring down at you, a giant eye overhead watching the proceedings as all of you, whether it is your intent or not, you are trying to appease something. Nyx is asking for strength. She's asking for power. And time begins to pass. Once the drugs hit in, who knows where you are in the timeline. But the few sober people in the group, Roshan, you know, dancing and partying does kind of mess with
Well-
time in its own special way.
That, and he's still at like level 2 of
Yeah,
hallucinations.
just crazy.
So
Doesn't even need the drugs.
he doesn't need psychedelics to see shit. He
Oh,
probably-
exactly. He's seeing the spirits. They're
Yeah, I think
everywhere. They're
he
here.
may see the same spirits that Nyx sees and like copies her and does the same thing.
Okay, here's my question for the team. This does not include Nick. She's 8 hours all the way. Do people think there is a time that they tap out, or it's like I tap out, but I just go like lay on the blanket and pass out? Or is it like, hey guys, it cold. And I'm not as high as I was now that I have hit hour 5. Is it like everybody's in it for the long haul, or is it like, all right, Nix, this is your shift, you got it?
I think Roshan is in it for the long haul. I think he loses himself in the dance.
Yeah, finally.
I think Ben's there for the whole thing.
Mhm.
I don't think he's dancing at any point. I think he's just kind of wandering around among Nyx's plant growth, like you tripping balls, looking at plants growing, looking at the fire.
Mhm.
He might occasionally like stop and take meditation for like an hour, like, but not like
Mhm.
full long rest meditation, but like just like he's trying to commune and he wants to be there for his friend. So
Mhm. Okay.
Sticking in for the full 8. She wants to see what this ritual's about. She wants to see it from the ritual side. She's sticking it out.
I think Keld's gonna stick it out too, since everybody else is. And he, I think, is sort of enjoying that.
Mhm. I will say your parents do tap out after a few hours.
Mm.
They have a lot to do during the day besides
Yeah, they're like,
just
this is really fun, thank you. But they do tap out. And we're like, we'll slip away. Rose also eventually is like, okay,
This
I'm
is
good.
enough.
Nobody's looking at her, but she slaps her thighs anyway, and she stands up and she walks back to the house.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and that's all she says.
well, and, and if nobody heard me, nobody heard me.
Have fun.
And if needs must, I'm sure this happens a couple times. You do have to re-up on T and get back to that state because
zone.
yeah, you gotta re-up a couple times. You gotta, and Nyx, there's just one point where it's just you just put like a whole leaf into your mouth
Oh,
and
God.
just keep it there.
Nice.
It's just like you don't have time, you can't stop. There's no way you can drink tea. You just put a leaf in your mouth and
Easier
and-
that way.
and continue to move through the space. Plant life is, I want to say slowly, but it is rapidly. Over the span of 8 hours, there is growth from beneath you as plants begin to break their way through the snow and upwards. And you dance, and you spin, and you watch the fire. And Nyx, there is one point a few hours in where you feel as if you are so powerful, you are going to leave the earth. And you remember your grandmother talking about this and that she had to fight to stay grounded and connected. Do you allow yourself to lift, or do you stay connected to the earth with this energy?
She's gonna follow her grandma's steps and stay
Mhm.
connected
Okay.
now.
And you kind of dig your toes into the soil, and it almost feels like roots starting from your chest and just rolling down your body and connecting and grabbing and just slowly fanning out over the entirety of the woods. You are connecting to the web of mushrooms and the roots and the plants and the animals and everything that is life and death and everything in between. This is what you are speaking to. There is nothing excluded. And all of you watch through magically or drug-addled eyes as the spores on Nyx's skin move like waves, iridescent and shining under the moonlight, moving across her body, up her arms, over her fingers, up the sides of her neck and her face. until they move outwards and expand, fully breaking out behind her. A huge expanse of these shining spores. And they begin to move and dance with you. This is the most you've ever seen of them, Nyx. And standing in the center of them, what a beautiful gift just of the sight is something that crosses the mind. That is this the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Maybe. It's definitely up there. Can you tell me what kind of plants, or is it just the natural fauna?
It's mostly the natural, because it's supposed to enrich everything that's already there.
Yeah.
That
Gotcha.
I want to add to the spores thing for what changes about her specifically is going to be every time she's using magic now, the spores aren't just around her, but it's now inside her body and will glow under her skin like those fungal networks.
Gotcha.
Which you all get to see through drug-addled eyes at the moment.
Yeah.
I think this is part of a trend.
You watch at hour 8 as these spores spin and move around Nyx. Nana, you catch a couple glances of a couple like kind of moving over your arm and like dancing around them, and you're able to you watch them move over your skin. And then all of you watch as the spores, like an inhale, move out and then inwards as they all press back into Nyx's body and slip under the skin, this iridescence now glowing beneath it as she fully becomes one with these spores, fully connected to what gives her magic and the nature around her. Is there anything else you wanted or perceived or would like to say happens during this ritual, Nyx?
That was my main thing.
Okay.
That part.
And at hour 8, as you hold yourself to the ground and the spores become one with your body, you truly know that you have appeased the forest. And whatever the fire means to you, the singeing and solidifying of the past, confirming choice, and making a space for something new atop those ashes, atop that ruin, giving life to a second chance, starts today. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys this story. If you'd like to see more of that story, you can head over to youtube.com/thedicecult for all the past episodes of On the Backs of Gods and other campaigns and doodads and talks and games and what have you. And did I say games? More games.
Lots of
If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. If you would like to get some beautiful dice, interested in telling you a beautiful story, you can go to the link in the chat or you can go to the box below. Thank you again. We appreciate it and love telling you a story. We will be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.